student from one of our professional programs and one student from our doctoral programs to represent their peers. And today, Kim Jaxon from the Language, Literacy, Society, and Culture area is representing doctoral degree graduates in our ceremony. Kim, would you please come to the podium?
Daniel said, I am so honored to be part of this celebration, and I want to thank all of our friends and family and faculty for coming. I really feel like this is a moment of pure joy. And as we were standing in line, I heard all of us saying, did you get your signatures? Are you going to file tomorrow? Are you still revision? And we got to like, okay, it's just for a minute. We got to have this moment of joy. And we can take a deep breath. Take this in, be thankful, and be really proud of each other, because it's been a long haul. I want to shape this speech around what I think our degree affords us, and a few ideas I humbly ask us to consider as we move into schools and universities. And I begin with a phrase that's at the bottom of my signature line on my email. And it started as a political statement around 2003, but I know it's a phrase you've heard, especially if you've ever been around children, and particularly if you're a parent, you've probably said it. And the phrase is, no hitting, use your words. And it's usually, don't hit your brother, use your words. And I thought about, when I was thinking about this speech today, I realized that no hitting, use your words was what brought me to Berkeley to begin with. It really matters to me that we disrupt, or at least complicate, the categories we use when we talk about students. Gifted, basic, remedial, fast, slow, ADHD, sheltered, ESL, talented, honors, and so on. While these labels can start a description, more often they stand in our way. While these labels might help us, they don't really stand in for what students can do. Instead of a label, a category that goes unexamined, we need to use our words. Use our words to explain, tell the story, advocate, complicate how others view our students and how we view our students. So there's been times I find myself, especially recently in these situations, where I feel like I have to refrain, even metaphorically, from hitting, and use my words. And it often happens, and some of you probably can relate to this, not necessarily at an academic conference, although it happens there too, but when I'm at some backyard barbecue and I'm caught off guard, and it starts when someone asks me, what do you do for a living? And I say, oh, I teach, and particularly for those of us who teach English, but it's true of any field, there's always a thing. And when you say, I teach English, that woman will start in, maybe you can teach them some grammar. Maybe you can get kids to start reading, because all they're doing is checking Facebook and playing video games. And before I can even start to tell her, wow, I'm probably the bigger gamer in the room here than any students you're worried about, I find myself getting really defensive, wanting to push back, and then I notice that I lose her because there's this tension. So instead of doing that, I'm finding there's a gift in using your words. So starting with a student or a child or a teenager that you know and telling their story. Saying, you know, that's interesting you'd say that about reading, because I spent a lot of time with teenagers and actually they're all sharing books like Speak and Stargirl and Perks of Being a Wallflower. I actually think they're reading and playing video games, but they're reading too. And you ought to see the research that's coming out on the design nature of youth culture. And I'm hoping it's in this moment when we describe that we can create this new understanding, a more complex picture of what students do. And in a moment when everyone wants to turn students into a statistic, a reading score, or a writing score, or a math score, we are really positioned to complicate the numbers on the page. And I think as teachers we have to do this for ourselves as well. That moment when we decide, oh, she's smart. Oh, he's got a low reading score, he really struggles. We have to slow ourselves down. What is it that they're doing? How is the label getting in the way or shaping what I think they can or cannot do? And we have to do that for the profession as well. I think we need to describe what teachers do instead of becoming really defensive about our work. So I feel like we can take this moment and enjoy it, and then we have some work. We have a responsibility. But here's the cool thing. We've been trained here by these faculty, by all of us. We've learned how to start this path of description. In fact, I would say we've been trained to describe. A lot of us do that kind of work. And here's the other really fabulous thing about being from Cal. There are really wonderful institutions out there, but we're Berkeley. Berkeley! There's this it's already implicit in it. When you say I'm from Berkeley, they kind of have a moment, right? Because there's this expectation or this hope or this fear that we might actually do something about what's going on in education. Through our teaching, through our research, through those backyard conversations we have with friends that we start to complicate for them. And you know what? The scary thing is people may even listen to us. Because they aren't just my words, they're not just your words, but they're the words that come from the tradition that is Berkeley. But we have to start, hitting, use our words. Congratulations. Enjoy your day and your future as educators. Thank you very much.
So it must be the case that when you come to Berkeley, what you do is to learn to hit with your words, like I'm from Berkeley, and your research. Thanks so much, Kim.